Yes, sir. Mod Tricker, back up in this thing, man. Today, we'll be continuing Modtoberfest with some mysterious videos that just don't sit right. But before we hop into that, go ahead and spam that like button right now so we can run the numbers up on the algorithm. You don't even got to think about it later. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that sub button too. Sub up, join the family. This is the most lit and active community on YouTube, period. With that being said, guys, let's hop straight into the video.
Creepy real photos that keep me up at night, part 60. This photo was posted to Reddit with the caption, "This is a photo in a series of photos taken in quick succession by my mother-in-law of my daughter. She was downloading from her camera when she noticed the background of this photo. Only my mother-in-law, the photographer, my father-in-law, my daughter, and the yippingest dog on earth that barked at everything were in the house. Her house backs up to a graveyard. And this is what happens when you turn up the brightness and contrast of the photo. Follow for more creepy real photos."
If I took a picture in my house and I saw this, I would have to move instantly because it kind of looks like Frankenstein with a high top fade.
We got Chick-fil-A for his birthday. Got a sweet tea. Ooh, they put my condiments in a bag. They've never done that before. Got chicken sandwich. Another chicken sandwich. I got the little one. Well, I'm pretty sure I took a fry out of yours, so there's your fry back. It was a long car ride. Which one do you want?
You have some Dairy Queen?
You do that?
They just poured it out.
Why is it so wet? Ew. Why did my chicken sandwich just go to the bathroom on me? Why is the chicken sandwich leaky? Is yours?
That's not.
Now I'm freaked out. Why is it pink?
Was that the sauce?
No,
Even the pickles?
it's clear.
Chick-fil-A might have added something extra to the formula because I've never seen a chicken sandwich this juicy before. It looks like she just bit into a deep fried water balloon.
This is why Peter Thiel keeps talking about the end of the world. Thiel has spent the last year giving private lectures on the Antichrist, not as a joke, but as a framework for understanding AI, politics, and power. His thesis essentially ties Silicon Valley's tech acceleration to biblical end times prophecy. The faster we innovate, the closer we get to Armageddon. So Thiel sees modern governance, especially attempts to regulate AI or unify global systems, as the path towards this Antichrist, a totalitarian one-world state promising peace and safety. He borrows from controversial figures, blending apocalypse theory with real geopolitics. To Thiel, technology is eschatology. But the problem here is that Thiel isn't just theorizing, he's actually building the infrastructure his theology warns about: defense AIs, surveillance software, and ideological proteges in the government. His claim is to fear a one-world regime, but funds tools that make one possible. The contradiction is strategic because crisis consolidates power and theology gives it moral cover. So then, by invoking the Antichrist, Thiel reframes political opposition as cosmic evil, a holy war. Once enemies become demons, compromise stops being an option. But I don't think Thiel's obsessed with the Antichrist because he fears it. I think he's trying to outsmart it. Because if you believe apocalypse is inevitable, every investment becomes a hedge against the end of the world. And maybe that's the scariest part of all this, because the idea that salvation might not come from our faith or humanity, but from whoever builds the last functioning server farm. But that's all just a theory, a theology theory.
So let me get this right. He's warning that AI regulations could potentially usher in the Antichrist while also owning the most powerful AI surveillance platform on the planet. That's like the CEO of McDonald's giving a speech about hypertension.
Yo, what the f***? Y'all see this? The f***? The f*** is they going? What the f*** is they doing? The f***?
Hopefully this is just some sort of air show and not 10 planes cloud seeding information, because if so, everybody in Pine Bluff, Arkansas is about to be huffing and puffing for the next month.
So Rivian likes to tell you whenever you got people around you and everything, right? It's pretty awesome. It's really cool. Except for in spooky season and you're in the middle of nowhere. Like, look. You guys are seeing this, right? Okay, people keep saying it's the trees, right? There's a tree right there, and look, my sensors are not going off, like saying that there's someone here. Look, trees all around. but literally a tree right there, and nothing is happening. Watch if I drive just a little bit. Nothing.
Maybe he was driving through an old battlefield, but the last thing he should have did was stop, because it looked like a couple of them hopped in a truck bed.
Baseball is full of Masonic symbols you've never noticed. The field is literally a diamond-shaped square. Just like the Masonic square and compass, perfectly aligned with the cardinal directions. 9 players lined up, scoreboard with 9 innings. 9 is a sacred Masonic number, the Triple Trinity. Each base is 90 feet apart, 4 sides equals 360. A perfect circle. Home plate is shaped like a pentagon, the keystone of Masonry. The stone that holds the arch together. First pitch, opening ritual, the national anthem, lodge meeting, 7th inning stretch, a Masonic pause. Baseball isn't just America's pastime. It's a Masonic ritual hidden in plain sight.
If baseball really was America's secret Masonic ritual, then the field itself was the temple. Alexander Cartwright, often credited with inventing baseball, was a high-ranking Freemason. Even Spaulding, the man who helped build baseball's empire, was deep in Masonic circles. Each base represents an initiation stage. First, second, third, until the return home, symbolizing illumination or completion of the great work. Even the uniforms, white and black, light and dark. The rituals disguised as rules. The crowds unknowingly witnessing a sacred play, masked as a game. They said baseball united America. Maybe because it was never just a game. It was a ritual for the nation itself.
If this is true, then you really can't take your guard down for a second, because now anytime I'm singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, it's going to feel like I'm singing a Freemasons theme song.
มาถึงแล้วค่ะพิจารณากันดูเด้ออันนี้ลำตัวเนอะนี่ชู
This is either fake or they just found a real-life Titanic boa, because this makes an anaconda look like an earthworm.
DARPA is something most Americans have never heard of. It's the biggest collection of geniuses anywhere in government. These are the guys that are creating not the next generation of technology, but 3 generations from now. If there are flying saucers and they're not little green men from outer space, DARPA made them. Seriously. This always struck me as very funny. DARPA's work is so classified that one DARPA scientist sitting next to another DARPA scientist has no idea what the other guy's working on. It's too highly classified. I mean, even at the CIA, we weren't cleared.
Not even at your position?
I had to get a Q clearance once because I had to go to the Department of Energy to talk about a nuclear issue. Nobody liked the fact that I had the clearance, and I ended up having the clearance just for 1 day, and then they revoked it. But that's how DARPA is too. And this is another thing that always struck me as funny. There's a DARPA website, and they have pictures of scientists like, working together all in bliss. These are just generic pictures of random people you pull off the internet. These aren't DARPA people that are the pictures. You can't show the DARPA people. They're too highly cleared.
We might need to do a whole deep dive on DARPA because they're responsible for creating the internet, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had a hand in creating AI as well. I want to know what they're making now, though.
A kitchen appliance starts violently shaking on its own, right after a shadow passes by. One Saturday at 3 p.m., Bonita Adonis was home alone in her kitchen watching TV. But then her security camera captured this. Watch carefully. A shadowy figure passes through the frame, and immediately after, the stove begins shaking uncontrollably before lifting up and slamming back down. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Bonita's relatives had gathered at her home following the recent passing of her grandmother, who died naturally while under Bonita's care. The family believes this could be her spirit making her presence known. Stoves obviously don't behave like this under normal circumstances. But was this paranormal activity? Or could there be another explanation? A gas pressure issue? Seismic activity? Or something we can't see on camera? What do you think happened here?
If the spirit of her grandmother did this, then grandma must have had anger issues for her to German suplex the stove like this.
What is the agent? Silver iodide. Every pound of this that you put up, you get in excess of 40 million pounds of water. 40 million. Wow. Yeah. That is what has been used in one form or another for the last 60 years. Its crystal structure is almost identical to ice. That plus a couple other material properties make the water freeze onto it very well. We use so little of it, about 50 grams per 100,000 plus acres. There's no measurable or consequential accumulation in the soil for humans or for farms or for ecosystems.
How many drones does it take to do this?
Like 3.
That's it?
What we do is we juggle them. So one drone will go up. Once that reaches altitude, the next drone will go up. The first drone, after dispersing its full payload, will come down. And you'll just cycle that as long as the conditions persist.
If it takes 1 pound of silver iodide to create 40 million pounds of rain, and that confirms that it doesn't take much to cause catastrophic flooding like we saw in Texas earlier this year, which also is not a coincidence that his company was doing cloud seeding operations the day before it happened.
Here we see an upbeat pop band called Panic at the Disco, who has had a #1 single in heavy rotation on Radio Disney. Meanwhile, kids seek out their other material, finding these demonic images and lyrics.
I've only ever heard Panic at the Disco songs over the radio, so I had no idea that this is what they were about. If you go to one of their shows, they'll have you acting satanic at the disco.
This is a disturbing Easter egg that the developers never wanted you to see. In the retro game called California Speed, if you go on the map Mojave Desert and drive around, you will find this billboard. It's a hidden asset that was never meant to be seen, and it says, "Sometimes God takes away mommies and puppies, but sometimes, just sometimes, I do."
I don't know who developed this video game, but whoever it is, we need to search their backyard.
Okay, you have to see this video of what new cars are coming with features automatically installed. This isn't even an electric vehicle, but you can already see how this could be applied, especially if everyone's driving an electric vehicle. Check this out.
Guys, here's my biggest gripe with new cars, like the tech. This little bulge here right in front of us, that monitors my head movement. You know, sooner enough, this is going to be facial recognition. So, what's it do? Well, it basically monitors my head movement the entire time I drive. So if I turn my head, look at something, I get a distracted driver notification, and it warns me, it beeps me. If, I try and get over in the lane slightly to see around the corner, this thing brakes for me. Like, shakes the steering wheel, auto brakes. I absolutely hate it, but this is the problem, guys. This car knows the speed limit. This car knows how fast we're going. Sooner or later, when everybody's in an EV, mark my words, they want the digital ID. You're not going to be able to drive unless you've got a digital ID. You scan your face, you're allowed to go driving, and then anytime you do something, you went over the limit.
People all over the world are sounding the alarm. We're talking 15-minute cities, we're talking digital IDs, we're talking being monitored, controlled, and surveilled and managed by artificial intelligence. That is where it's planned to go. I don't mean to give you may be thinking, this is conspiracy, like it's not really happening, it hasn't really happened yet, man, you're a bit paranoid. Look at the signs that are around you. We can see clearly what's happening with all the mandates with new vehicles, all the new features they have to have, and we know that every country basically now is pushing for digital ID and digital currencies. They have a plan, man. All these countries getting behind, closed doors, shaking hands, working deals on manipulating and controlling the masses. And they're doing it. You'll see the signs of it all over the place. Once you realize their end goal, you can see the steps that they're taking every single day towards them. And it's pretty much every single country. In fact, I can tell you that if there was a country that fully opposed and was not controlled by this control system and opposed this evil plan, that we would likely be at war with them, or at least they would be some horrible thing would happen there. Either something, I don't even want to speculate, but bad things would happen to a country that wasn't towing the line with the global control scheme 100%.
This is exactly what they need to enforce a social credit system. In the future, if they don't want you driving and they see you behind the wheel, they're just going to shut the car off. If my baby ever started making this noise in the middle of the night, I would actually be terrified.
This new law that I signed today will allow surveillance of all communications used by terrorists, including emails, the internet, and cell phones.
Does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
This is the exact moment that kicked off the mass surveillance. Watching GW sell us up the river like that is actually infuriating.
How rich and powerful is Lord Evelyn Rothschild? Historically, the Rothschild family wealth was hidden in underground vaults. The Rothschild's secret financial records were never audited and never accounted for. Their family commissioned biographies give the illusion that their family fortune has dwindled, but researchers estimate their wealth at close to $500 trillion, more than half the wealth of the entire world. Besides their many castles, palace mansions, wineries, racehorses, and exotic resorts, the Rothschilds bought Reuters in the 1800s. Reuters then bought the Associated Press, which selects and delivers the same news stories to the entire world, day after day. They have controlling interest in 3 major television networks and easily avoid media attention since they own it. Until recently, they owned and operated England's Royal Mint and continue to be the gold agent for the Bank of England, which they also direct. They control the LBMA, London Bullion Market Association, where 30 to 42 million ounces of gold worth over $11 billion are traded daily. The Rothschilds earn millions weekly just on transaction fees alone. They also fix the world price of gold on a daily basis and profit from its ups and downs. Over the centuries, the Rothschilds have amassed trillions of dollars worth of gold bullion in their subterranean vaults and have cornered the world's gold supply. They own controlling interest in the world's largest oil company, Royal Dutch Shell. They operate phony charities and offshore banking services where the wealth of the black nobility and the Vatican is hidden in secret accounts at Rothschild Swiss banks, trusts, and holding companies. The wealth hoarded by this one family alone could feed, clothe, and shelter every human being on Earth.
If they control the banks, the gold supply, the media, etc., then they pretty much control the world, and the only threat they have is us coming together.
Man from Mexicali, Mexico explains that nearly every night around 3 a.m. he hears knocking at his front door, but every time he opens it, there's nobody there. Ever since he first opened the door, he has been seeing this strange old woman standing outside his house, just staring inside. On one night, the man decides to confront her. Then this happens. He hears knocking on his door, but as he goes to check, he finds no one there. The very next night, he's woken up to something moving inside his house. Then the knocking continues. After hearing another strange sound, he opens the door and finds a plant root outside the door. He then starts seeing a cat staring right into his window at 4 a.m, similarly to how the woman was. Because of all this, he thinks she might be a witch trying to get inside his house.
After watching that movie Weapons, I would have never picked up that twig. Now he about to be running through the street in the middle of the night like Naruto, straight to Granny's basement.
Missile receptors Copenhagen Airport. Unfortunately, due to unidentified drones flying close to the airport is now closed for about 15 minutes. We are doing a holding pattern close to the airport, so right now we are waiting for good news from the air traffic controllers. We have approximately 15 minutes of fuel to wait for Copenhagen to be open. Once we get some more information for the air traffic control.
This kind of reminds me of the drones we were seeing in New Jersey. I don't know if they're connected, but apparently a bunch of airports throughout Europe have been shut down because of these, so it's definitely concerning.
Look at that. Wow. Take me now. Whoa. What is that?
It's probably just a lenticular cloud, but you know it's bad when people start begging to be abducted.
This is insane. AI-powered self-driving police cars are officially here. Miami just rolled out the first ever autonomous patrol vehicle in the United States, and it doesn't even need a cop behind the wheel. It's called the PUG, short for Police Unmanned Ground Patrol Partner, a Ford Explorer-based robot police cruiser built by Policing Lab and Perron Robotics. This thing can patrol high crime areas, it can scan license plates, it can detect stolen cars, and even launch a drone into the sky, all while feeding real-time data back to command centers. It's packed with thermal imaging, 360-degree cameras, and an AI that can recognize patterns, identify suspicious activity, and alert human officers when backup is needed. Officials call it a force multiplier, designed to enhance officer safety and free deputies from repetitive patrol work so that they can focus on human interaction. Now, for now, it's part of a one-year pilot program in Miami-Dade, where it'll appear at public events as police gather community feedback. Now, some see this as the future of law enforcement, others as a step toward sort of RoboCop territory, but one thing is for sure, Miami's newest recruit doesn't eat donuts, doesn't take breaks, and never blinks. The age of AI policing has officially begun.
Yeah, I'm against this 100% because not only is it taking away more jobs, but at least a regular police officer would cut you a break every now and then. If Officer ChatGPT even catches you not wearing a seatbelt, you probably going to jail.
Guys, we may have just witnessed history. Yesterday, 22-year-old inventor Julian Brown ran the first ever muscle car on plastiline. His 110-octane gasoline he converted from plastic waste. As the live stream from Atlanta showed, he turned on the car to demonstrate there was no fuel inside. And sure enough, it didn't start. He then filled the car with a canister of plastiline, pressed the button, and the rest is history. Now, to be clear, Julian Brown didn't invent pyrolysis. Converting plastic to fuel is a well-established process that's been around for decades. But he did invent the world's first solar continuous microwave pyrolysis reactor, which fundamentally changes how expensive and renewable this process is. And he did all of this without the backing of large corporations, and he was able to build this in his own backyard with a box of scraps. Now, he says his reason for doing all of this is to send a message to the world that people are no longer going to wait for big corporations or big government to do what needs to be done.
Because this is our world. This is our Earth. And we care and we protect it.
In fact, in May, he even got his plastic diesel scientifically tested and it passed with flying colors. The lab even went as far to say that Julian's diesel had better emissions than regular diesel.
I thought it was surprisingly well distilled. I thought it was surprisingly clean as well for plastic. And it blew my mind that plastic could be redistilled into diesel.
He says his end goal is to get this in the world and where it needs to be.
Let's get it in the world. Let's get it implemented how it needs to be, because that's the whole point of why I started this. And so that's the strive and the move, without a doubt, to get this where it needs to be.
He may not have invented anything new, but this is exactly how we need to take our power back. We need to protect him like precious cargo.
Police are on the hunt for the person who made off with a 13-foot Jack Skellington decoration. The animatronic is worth more than $500 and has been a holiday staple for the homeowner for years. Police say such thefts are rare in the neighborhood, but seasonal animatronics are in high demand for thieves. Neighbors are sharing the story online, hoping to help locate both the suspect and missing Jack.
You have to be an extremely skilled criminal to not be spotted with a 13-foot skeleton on the top of your car. But that was the video, guys. Don't forget to sub up, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one.